Hello and good afternoon. My name is Johnny Davis. I am a sixth grade teacher at Tilden Middle School in Philadelphia, PA. I am currently teaching social studies and science at the moment, and I'm just going to talk for a few minutes about learning strategies and learning theories that go along with those learning strategies. So, one of the first things that I do want to talk about is um, a learning strategy, um, or you could call it an instructional strategy that I actually use in my day to day lesson plans, which is a student centered approach, which basically allows the teacher is acted more as a facilitator for students. So the students have the autonomy to kind of do their own thing, a little bit of how they're actually learning and grasping. So they are grasping ideas and skills and strategies on their own, and the teacher is mainly just facilitating them on how they do it. So one of the many things that I like to do is I have science journals for students to use, and I let them kind of write their notes that they see best fit for them. Most students are used to doing the notices and wonders T chart, but I don't require for them to do a notice and wonder T chart. I kind of let them use their own vocabulary, what I know, what I don't know, what I want to learn. I let them use their own vocabulary in their note taking for science. So that's one of the many approaches that I use with student centered during my science lessons. I think one of the learning theories that I feel like I've seen in my day to day is behaviorism. So it's mainly that behaviors they are the reason for, how can I put this, the way a student might learn. So for example, a student learning through repetition, or a student learning through reinforcement, is one of the things that happens in behaviorism. Um, Strategies that work with them is mainly, I would think, is more of a, if it was a behaviorism learning theory being utilized in the school setting, I think that a teacher centered but with a direct instruction is more associated with like behaviorism learning theories, because the teacher gives out the direct instruction, like everything comes directly from the student. But I feel like that specific learning theory with that learning strategy, I feel like is more for students who are either like in high school or college. For somebody like me that teaches middle school, I don't think that's the best approach to take. I also think the cognitive learning theory, where that has to do with how children or students are grasping the concepts and how they're thinking, like their comprehension of the things that are going on around them, um, and that process of like how they perceive everything, how they take everything in. Because I could say the same thing to every student, but some students may not get exactly what I'm saying, and some students may, or it may be just the way how they process it in their head. And I think when you're dealing with a cognitive learning theory, a strategy that works better for that is student centered. I think a student centered strategy would work because you will allow the students to have their own autonomy as to how they grasp a concept. Like, one thing I always tell students is that sometimes, especially, and I feel like especially with math, I feel like that works especially with math, because sometimes the way a teacher might teach math might not be a way that a student might understand it. I feel like sometimes with math you can have the autonomy to know how to do a math problem or solve the equation, or however, in your own way, that the state standard might be different. Like, okay, this is the way how they want you to learn, this is the way how you're supposed to learn it, this is the formula, that's the updated formula or the updated way of doing multiplication. But it changes, and sometimes the way maybe I learned how to do multiplication 20 years ago may work for a student now, versus the whole entire curriculum being a little bit different, or the way how students are being taught division or multiplication might be just a little bit more different than it was 20 years ago. And maybe that strategy from 20 years ago works better than the strategy that's working now. So I feel like with that Pacific learning theory and that Pacific learning strategy is something that a student will have to learn how to comprehend with math. Um, One of the ways that I do want to begin to use an approach that I do want to use is I want to say want to use, but I want to get better at is student centered. I want to kind of make it more organized in the way how I use the student centered approaching, because I feel like sometimes once I have a conversation with my students, then we kind of be like, okay, let's do it that way. We do student centered. But I kind of want to push it into my lesson plan more. Like I want it to be something that I know I'm going to do right then and there versus when I get to class and I'm talking with my students and they feel like it will be better for them to do it this way, they will understand it that way. I think maybe if I start doing those conversations before and then making my lesson plan and then having it that way, it will work out really good for students. I know I'm running short on time, so I'm just going to end it right here. And that was pretty much all I really had to talk about different strategies, learning theories that resonate with me and resonate with the students that I teach, and in general, what I've seen with learning theories and instructional strategies. If there's any questions, I'm willing to take them. Please let me know. Thank you.